Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I'm very excited to talk about a book I enjoyed immensely, The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. 561 pages of high fantasy goodness, the first installment of the Covenant of Steel trilogy, my favorite read of 2024 so far. I know we're early, but this book's pretty darn good and I'm excited to talk about it. This book tells the story of Alwyn Scribe, a bandit and a scoundrel, our protagonist and our narrator. A man used to acting in the shadows, but nevertheless finds himself as a first-hand witness and assistant to those who direct the course of history. And he's a very interesting point of view to have. History is not just determined by great people doing great things. Oftentimes, even a nobody, a person of low birth, can influence the direction of history. Alwyn Scribe doesn't have much agency in The Pariah. But I find that very relatable because I too am a person who really isn't going to alter the course of history very much. But I am subject to the whims and machinations of people much greater and more influential than me. And that's pretty interesting how Anthony Ryan's able to write a protagonist who lacks agency, but this protagonist is very much aware that he doesn't have agency, that he doesn't have control over his actions or what happens to him. And that's kind of refreshing. Alwyn Scribe is too intelligent for his own good. He is cynical and he's witty. And he sees the world that he's in a way that only one without ideology and without a stake in the game can see. And it's very interesting to see the way he kind of deconstructs all the things that are happening around him. His commentary on war and class and religion is often biting and strikes to the core of the matter. And there are many passages throughout this book where I was like, dang, that's pretty thought-provoking. I've never seen it that way. He sees complicated things in a very simple, straightforward way. Anthony Ryan was not on my radar before I picked up this series. But after reading The Pariah, I don't understand why he's not more talked about in the fantasy genre, because the man can write. And Anthony Ryan cultivated such a distinct voice and tone with The Pariah. Alwyn Scribe's point of view, the way he sees things, the filter in which he sees the world, makes The Pariah the riveting read that it was for me. The Pariah is definitely a grimdark story. It is gritty. The pessimistic tone and gritty subject matter keeps the reader suspended in suspicion and suspense. Our characters have consequences to their actions. People die, sometimes anticlimactically, sometimes in ways that the author was not foreshadowing. And that's just so realistic and raw. And Anthony Ryan found a way to subvert expectations several times. This book was not the book I was anticipating in the first chapter, or in the 20th chapter, or in the 40th chapter. He definitely added a nice mix of twists and turns, while at the same time kind of sticking to the same story narrative he kind of establishes after the first 100 pages. Masterfully done. I loved the diverse cast of characters in The Pariah. We have gritty, evil, morally gray scoundrels and paragons. And generally, paragons are pretty boring characters in modern fiction. But Anthony Ryan found a way to make the paragons very compelling. They have realistic motivations. Yes, they are head and shoulders better than most of the supporting cast of characters, but these paragons are my favorite individuals in the narrative, because sometimes paragons may not be the most interesting on their own, but what makes them interesting is how normal people see these great individuals and how these paragons influence the actions and make these morally gray individuals want to be better people. And the influence that a good person can have on the direction of your life is something that Anthony Ryan portrayed very well in The Pariah. There are a lot of religious and political themes in this book. And in that respect, this book was very much tailored to my interests. I'm very religious, and I love politics. That's what I went to school for. So the political machinations and even the church politics that have a lot of parallels to how history happened in Christendom was just something I found incredibly compelling. And Anthony Ryan did a very good job at portraying the conflict and the tension between the church and the state. And also, there's like a little third pillar in that conflict with magic, heretics, outsiders. And he just made this world seem very dynamic and lifelike because there's all these special interests directing the course of events in this book. And they're all at war with each other, but they all kind of have to make nice of each other. And the people that Alwyn Scribe is allied with are very much in the center of these conflicts. And I just can't wait to see how this story unfolds. One thing I very much appreciate about modern fantasy is how war and violence is viewed. In OG fantasy, war scenes are very glorified. They're very glamorous. They were seen as a good thing. They were seen as epic. And in the Pariah, like most works of modern fantasy, war is gritty. There is no glory or glamour in it. It is not something to be immortalized in song. And Alwyn Scribe, because he's too smart for his own good, and he is cynical, and he is witty, oftentimes talks to the reader and talks about how war is so stupid. And those that make the commoners go to war and risk their lives and lose their lives for special interests, those are the real evil individuals in the world. And there was many passages about violence, about war, about class struggle that just had me nodding along. And I'm like, dang, Alwyn Scribe really gets it. Some final thoughts. Favorite character, probably Evadine Corlane or the Sack Witch. Rating out of 5 stars, this was 5 stars for me, but this book is very much tailored to my particular interests. I can't wait to finish this trilogy. This is definitely a priority series for me. I will most definitely finish this trilogy before March is done. But I may even finish this trilogy before we get to March, and that would be something special. I very rarely read a series that quickly, and when I finish it, you'll be sure to see a series review video on my channel, and I can't wait to talk about this in its entirety. Anthony Ryan, you have my attention, and I can't wait to pick up more of your work. Thank you guys for watching this book review video. If you liked it, push that little thumbs up icon below. Subscribe to my channel if you want to hear me talk about any other books. Leave a comment below about what you thought about The Pariah or any other books you'd like to recommend to me, and hopefully I could get to them. Push the little notification bell and all that jazz. And I'll see you guys next time.